The events of the film, which became an adaptation of the novel of American writer Hubert Selby Jr., unfold around four people: Sarah and her son Harold, and his best friend Tyrone, and a girl named Marion. During summer, Sarah Goldfarb, an elderly widow living alone in an apartment in Brighton Beach, spends all her free time in front of the TV. A woman's special attention is caused by an advertising show in which people fight with their shortcomings through diets and hunger strikes. Sarah is delighted with the main characters of the program, but at the same time she does not deny herself chocolate and other high-calorie foods. Soon, her son comes again in order to carry and sell the TV. Her mother knocks the cabinet to the battery of the chain and tries to hide in the bedroom, but this does not stop her son. Understanding that Harold is ready for anything for the dose, she gives him the key to take off the chains. Having taken the TV, Harold, along with his friend Tyrone, drag it to the buyer and receives money to buy some white powder. After consuming the prohibited substances, the friends listen to music and carefully rejoice in life. Soon, the feeling of hunger overcomes them, and they go to the nearest cafe to eat. Noticing a pistol at the policeman, Harold steals it and plays with it, mocking the representative of the law. A couple of moments later, he understands that this is another hallucination and is not worth doing so. Sarah knows where Harold sold the TV because he did this not for the first time, and goes to the reseller to buy it back. Returning home, she again turns on her favorite television show in order to at least somehow distract from oppressive reality. Meanwhile, Harold meets his lover, Marion. The couple decides to have a little fun on the roof of one of the high-rise buildings. The closed door with an alarm is not a problem, so Harold and Marion have fun and run away before someone will catch them. Sarah responds to the telephone, and an unknown person tells her that he's from the television audience management. A woman was randomly chosen from the lucky list and offered to take part in her favorite show. At this moment, Sarah's life again finds sense, and she hurries into the bedroom to try on a red dress. Due to excess weight, the woman does not fit into the dress and decides to lose weight in order to look as spectacular on the TV screen. A good-natured neighbor brings her the book, How to Drop 10 Pounds in 10 Days. From the next day, Sarah sits on a diet and limits herself in food, but understands that it is very difficult. Trying to escape from the oppressive atmosphere, the woman runs out into the street to sunbathe in the circle of elderly neighbors. Soon postman brings a letter line. Sarah with friends fills it up and sends it to the TV channel in the hope of their answer. At the same time, Harold and Tyrone decide to earn extra money on the resale of prohibited substances. To do this, the guys buy one clean dose and decide to dilute it before selling. Friends check the powder for quality and are convinced that this is the best option for them. On this day, Harold and Tyrone begin to sell the powder, half diluting it and selling it at the same price. Their business starts quite successfully, and the friends quickly get up, making good money. Feeling that they're lucky, Tyrone and Harold begin to make plans and dream of a bright future. Tyrone recalls his late mother and wants to start a quiet and calm life away from the cruel street realities. Harold dreams of opening a fashion store for Marion, as the girl has a sense of taste, and she's a born fashion designer. Continuing to receive money from her parents, the girl was forced to go to a meeting with an unpleasant psychotherapist, Arnold. During dinner, he annoys her with his appearance, and the meeting ends prematurely. Sarah can now lose weight and decides to go to extreme measures. One of her neighbors recommended contacting the doctor, and the widow agreed to this adventure. Having received 4 types of tablets, she wouldn't begin to take them and soon felt that the medicine was acting. Sarah is full of strength. She absolutely does not want to eat, and she has enough willpower to throw food into the garbage basket. Harold decided to make a special gift to his mother. Arriving to visit his mom, Harold notes that she is very excited and behaves inadequately. The grinding of her teeth and a constant smile lead the guy to the idea that Sarah was using something forbidden. Harold understands that she was hooked on hallucinogens and demands she stops taking them. Sarah refuses because she had a chance to get on her favorite television program, and this gave her a new meaning in life. Leaving his mother's house, Harold cries, experiencing shame and pity for her, but calms down after taking the next dose. Tyrone meets a large white powder merchant. To do a joint business, Brody is satisfied with how the guy leads business and offers to sell goods with him. But the dialogue is interrupted by the Italian mafia, who killed everyone who was sitting in a car. Tyrone miraculously managed to escape but was caught by the police and sent to jail. Harold pulls out a friend and makes bail, giving almost all his savings. The mafia war leads to the fact that the white powder disappears in the city, and it is possible to get it only from Baby John, but he does not sell it and gives it in return for intimate services. Meanwhile, the dependence of Sarah on the tablets continues to increase. Without feeling the previous effect, the woman begins to increase the dose, which leads to hallucinations. Sarah is calm and watches her favorite television show turned off, imagining that she became a participant in it. She talks about what is happening to the doctor, but he is not able to help write out a new prescription, offering to return to him in a week. Every day, Sarah is increasingly moving away from reality, and hallucinations continue to intensify. At this time, she's waiting for a letter from the TV show, but there is still no answer. To get white powder, it becomes more and more difficult, and this affects the relationship of Harold and Marion. They become worse day by day. The girl was addicted and experiences an abstinent state, so she asks to use an inviolable stock that the guy left for an emergency. Already the next morning, she cannot remember this due to growing dependence and requires a new dose. Money ends, and now Marion lives with only one desire: to find white powder. For this, she agrees to go on a date with the vile Arnold and makes love with him to get $200. Harold knows about this but is no longer jealous of his beloved girl and calms down, smoking the grass. Having received money from Marion, Harold and Tyrone go to a meeting with one of the merchants who still had quality product. The man decided to arrange a holiday in honor of the approaching Christmas and sells powder to everyone. Harold and Tyrone are trying to buy powder, but because of the aggressive behavior of the crowd, the guards open fire and the deal falls apart. Meanwhile, Marion experiences a terrible withdrawal and destroys everything around, destroying her drawings and personal belongings. Harold returns home empty-handed, and this leads to another quarrel. This guy is disappointed that he is no longer interested in her and leaves her the phone number of Baby John in case she is ready to sell her body in exchange for powder. Sarah feels that the effective pills are disappearing and continues to increase the dose. After using a whole bunch of pills, a woman goes into the world of hallucinations. During the attack, it seems to her that the apartment turns into a studio of her favorite television program, where the hosts, spectators, and beautiful versions of Sarah mock her way of life. They laugh at the unfortunate widow and the fact that she cannot become happy. The refrigerator repeatedly tries to attack her and again attacks a woman to eat her. In horror, she runs away from the apartment and goes to the TV channel to find out how soon she will be invited to the show. In winter, Tyrone and Harold are not able to buy white powder since it is not sold anywhere else. The guys decide to break the vicious circle and go to Florida to buy prohibited substances and become monopolists in Brooklyn. Along the way, they make themselves an injection, and Tyrone notes that a friend's vein is struck by an infection. Harold does not bother this at all, and he makes another injection directly into the rotting flesh, which makes him even worse. The doctor understands that dependence is in front of him and reports them to the police. Tyrone and Harold are arrested and sent to prison. Marion can no longer endure and is ready for anything for the sake of white powder. Remembering Baby John's number, she calls a large black guy and goes to a meeting with him. Having satisfied the merchant, the girl receives what she wants, and John offers to come to him someday to take part in group fun, where she can get twice as much powder. At first, the girl refuses the sentence, but a little later changes her decision. Sarah arranges a real scandal on television, caused by doctors understanding that the woman is not entirely sane. The police determine her to be in a psychiatric hospital. Sarah is tied to a bed and fed and stuffed with medicines, but this does not have a result due to her dependence. Doctors decide to take a desperate step and ask her to consent to treatment with electric shock. Sarah does not realize what is happening and signs the document. Meanwhile, Harold uses the right to a phone to contact his beloved girl. The girl promises to come soon, although he understands that this is unrealistic. Soon, inflammation goes to gangrene, and he is taken to the hospital to amputate the hand. Tyrone remains in prison. Ray copes with desires and learns to work on a par with others. He's the only dark-skinned one there, therefore he is abused both by the neighbors in the cell and by the prison workers. At the same time, Marion comes to John's party and entertains the audience, making love with another girl in the middle of an improvised scene in one of the rooms to get a new portion of white powder. Harold comes to his senses and understands that his hand was amputated. He would like to call Marion, but understands that the girl will not come to him. Tyrone is tormented by pain and lies in bed, remembering his mother and happy childhood. Marion returns after dirty entertainment and lies on the sofa. Harold is in the hospital ward, and Sarah, who has turned into a lifeless shell, lies in a psychiatric clinic. All of them lie in the same position as the human embryo. Sarah sees images generated by her brain in which she is beautiful, elegant, and happy. The woman became the winner of the show, with the main prize being her son, who achieves success and decides to marry Marion. Sarah and Harold are hugged and admitted to each other in love. The audience's voices are heard, while a happy family scene is symbolically crossed out by the cross created by the rays of light. And here the movie ends. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow at the same time.